This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 766 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Today's tip is brought to you by Wintec Saddles, featuring the Easy Change Fit Solution. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from the Dressage Radio Show, episode number 198. Angel Howell joins Dressage Radio co-hosts Reese Kofler-Stanfield and Philip Parks with some great grooms tips for being prepared and relaxed at a horse show. Too many riders know the frustration that comes from their saddle not fitting or no longer fitting. Many hours and many more dollars are often spent trying to compensate for a poor fit or buying another saddle, only to have the same thing happen again months later. Enter the Easy Change Fit Solution, available on Wintec Easy Care saddles. By combining the Easy Change gullet system introduced over 15 years ago with the new Easy Change riser system, Wintec now offers an unparalleled scope of adjustment for a total fitting solution that's not only easy, but measurable, giving total confidence to be able to make changes to the saddle. Whether you're a serious competitor or ride horses for the sheer joy of it, choose a saddle with the Easy Change Fit Solution that puts your horse's comfort first. Enjoy the peace of mind in knowing that your saddle offers full adjustability and is able to meet the changing needs of your horse. Find out more today at easychangefitsolution.com.
Well, it is my pleasure to have my friend Angel Holwell on the program today. Angel has been a professional groom for 25 years and has been with me at some really big competitions. And Angel, you are amazing. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show. Welcome.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you for asking.
Well, you are a huge part of everybody's team. And we wanted to talk about, preparing to go to a horse show, preparing your horse, preparing all your equipment. How do you make that happen so smoothly?
Well, I would say that it's never always smoothly, but the more that you are, in a sense, a good Girl Scout or Boy Scout, being prepared does help. And just in the sense, getting yourself organized, getting the horse ready for competition is also like grooming, maintenance, little details that instead of waiting at the last minute at the horse show to tend to these, that you tend to them prior to, and making sure that everything is in its best order so that when you're at a horse show, you do know where everything's at. So everything can go as smoothly as possible because it's always subject to change in our industry, as we all well know.
Angel, can you tell us a few things? We'll start from the beginning maybe on how do we prepare the horse before even going to the horse show? What are some things that you like to do or some details that you like to do?
Well, I would say just simple maintenance. Everybody has a different protocol on clipping and whiskers, bridle paths, just simple things like that. Their manes being told and prepared for braiding for competition. Some things, instead of doing it the day before, it's important that you do it prior to. Just in general, making sure all their clothing, caretaking, like supplies that you need for the horse shows, simple things, bathing supplies, tack cleaning, anything that you need to use for the horse, that it's in order and accessible and you actually know where it's at. Because unfortunately, when we pack and unpack, things get, misplaced or not put back, or, we have to keep up on those things. And it's those little details that do help when we're there at the competition to hopefully make things run smoothly when they can go awry.
And chaos occurs. We all know chaos is going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't avoid that.
Your horse
it wouldn't be a horse show, right?
Yeah, without some chaos. Your horse's coats are stunning. How do you get your horse's coats to look the way they do?
Well, unfortunately, it takes a little bit of everything. I think it's also baiting, but I also think it's good grooming. It's good polishing. It's actually taking the time to be able to do that, which does take time. A good curry, after a good bath, it's also good toweling them off, certain polishes. Unfortunately, we put so many chemicals on our animals. You want to keep it simple, but also you have to tend to those little details by toweling them off, letting them air dry, because in different locations, like when we have competitions down south, down in Florida, the bacteria level is a little different. So if you don't approach things a certain way, it's amazing how little details can catch up with you, like fungus. And it's not that you're not doing your job, but if unfortunately you don't take care of those little details, it can happen overnight, and even over at a horse show. We can get fungus at a horse show because we're just not taking care of all the little details.
Now, what are some things that you do that you have learned over the years? Maybe we can get a couple of trade secrets as far as the details of the grooming that can make a difference.
Well, I think one thing that's a good thing that people forget is that, like, rinsing the horse's mouth out before putting a bridle on. If you have a good, I have one that's like a dental use, that rinsing their mouth out with just water, so it's not something always negative that's always going in their mouth. It helps keep the bit clean. And also, believe it or not, if they're really comfortable with that, even up at horse shows when we're at the show ring, believe it or not, they put a lot of sugar and a lot of products in their mouth for them to stimulate chewing and stuff. It's also good for them, just like the riders, to rinse out their mouth. You can always add another piece of sugar and stuff like that. Chapstick, we're all putting chapstick on. Same thing with the horses. They use Vaseline. They use Bag Balm on the side of their lips. I think those little details are very helpful. And certain things like Bestatin and stuff like that for fungus and itch. Little products, little things simple little details that helps prevent major things that can occur. So those would be the little things that I would think of: rinsing the mouth, chapstick, and just simple first aid caretaking.
No, I think that's so important. And Angel, just being in Florida, the fungus is terrible there, and I don't have
sand scratches, which is just the environment by turning them out. Their coats, horses that, I hate to say, chestnuts, redheads, sometimes have a little more sensitive skin. So it's not that, again, we're not taking care and doing our business. It's just that the environment is different. I think there's a different bacteria level on the ground and the water. And again, when they're pounding the pavement, the sand is hot. Even though we have great arenas, they're turned out. The white box, the clipping the horses, using the products, just like you said, you bathe them, they can get dishpan hands, so they get dry skin. So all these things, can cause that we're trying to prevent something but causing something else. You know what I mean? So it's just very important that you keep on it, because it's amazing how instantly overnight swelling, it's amazing how things can change so quickly. And it's not that you're not doing your job.
And what about maybe some favorite, some products? Like, what kind of shampoo are you using for a white horse versus, a black horse,
everybody
for example?
has their choice. And you know what? Again, I think it's also every animal is different, okay? For gray horses and the white horses, like on the everyday thing, simple things like Head and Shoulders work, but I like Orvis. And believe it or not, Ivory soap, simple Ivory dish soap for like they're washing their white legs and stuff like that. Those are different things you can alternate through. And, there are so many good products out there that I couldn't even start. I don't know where to start so that I wouldn't eliminate somebody else. But it's what is used. It's a trial and error. You know what I mean? Some products work better on other horses, depending on what kind of coat they have. If they have more of a coarse coat, if they have, if they're grays, you're constantly, bathing them, so the Head and Shoulders, or even the cleaning with, like rubbing out, or like, Cowboy Mattress has a great product. It's to each his own into the situation at hand. Sometimes you can't get it bath. Sometimes those products aren't available, and it's also cost, because it is very cost costly that I think, like when I mentioned the ivory soap, it's very simple. It's something you can buy. It's cheap. It's inexpensive, and it's not as hard, I think, on their coat as some other products.
I forgot about that stuff. That's a good reminder. And Head and Shoulders, that's also a great reminder.
You know, and people forget that also, like, and this is going off subject, just like Dawn dishwashing soap. If you look at the commercials and stuff like that, when they were removing the oil slicks that they would use on the animal skin to remove the stuff, is actually Dawn soap. And at shelters, we use that to get the fleas and ticks off. So when the animals down here, like with the pets, you know, and stuff like that, some people just give their animals a bath in Dawn soap. Yeah, simple things like that.
Yeah, I like Dawn, and you can buy it at Sam's. So it's
large quantities of Dawn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like I said, what products to use. I mean, there's just an endless amount of little things, but some work for others, and you know, other products don't work on other horses. Just like you and I, what shampoos you use and I use may be totally different, but for different reasons. And I think it's important that everybody tries different things. Always keep an open mind of what may not work for one, may work better for another. And that's unfortunately a lot of times there's too many fads that everybody forgets about going back to the basics and going back to what works. You know what I mean? I don't mind trying different things, and it's a good thing to keep an open mind.
Now, I have another question, and it's sort of along the same lines, but do you notice, like, if you have clients that feed a certain... I know a lot of people who use like flaxseed or certain products that the coats that the coats are a little bit better on those horses.
Yes. You are what you eat. What goes in comes out. Their coats are definitely different and it is affected by their intake of their feed. There's no doubt about it. When animals are also on antibiotics or if they're being treated for something, yes, it does make a difference, just like ourselves. There's no doubt about that. I do believe in flaxseed. I believe that that's also something that is misunderstood about the proper soaking, cooking, what it does. And, you know what I mean? It's great for digestion. It's great for the coat. It has many purposes, but just like anything, if it's not used properly, it can also do damage. So we always have to remember things like that. And also some horses... They can. It's not good. They can't have flaxseed, believe it or not. I mean, depending on what their diets are. I mean, unfortunately, just like us, we're becoming like wheat-free, gluten-free. The same thing with the horses. Unfortunately, some horses can't eat what they're supposed to eat. You know what I mean?
No, I think
so.
Yeah, no, I think you always have to try.
I truly believe in flaxseed, though. Flaxseed is a wonderful product, whether you do it naturally or the oil or whatever. I think it does help 100%.
So, Angel, when we were talking about the horse show a little bit earlier, can you tell us when you get to the horse show, how do you manage the chaos, number one, but also the horses in the different environment than home?
Well, I would say one thing is trying to communicate with your group, making sure that it's a good flow on the way it should be, where the horses should be placed, how our tack room is and our feed. You know, when we get there, we know what it's like going to horse show. Sometimes it's people's first time, but a lot of times it's not the first time we go to a rodeo, our first time at the rodeo. We know what to expect, and if we try and prepare ourselves by trying to keep things organized and communicating about keeping things flowing, making sure that one step follows the other because it catches up at the end of the day if it doesn't. Trying to make sure that the horses are first and priority as far as I'm concerned. That is our main goal. I mean, also taking care of the riders, etc. And in order to keep things flowing smoothly is by communication. What is going to work? Who's going where? When are we? And to try and keep it at that pace, and that we all pitch in and work together. Sometimes things happen, always subject to change, and not trying to get too flustered by that. If you're expecting it, it's really, you know what I mean? It happens. And people forget this is not the end of the world. Even when we're qualifying for the Olympics, you know, be polite to your neighbor. I will say that. You know what I mean? It's very important. I mean, seriously. Yes. I mean, people forget that. And You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I think another thing is the day is over. What happened that day, sometimes, you just have to wash that day away and start off fresh the next one. Because who knows what tomorrow brings. I mean, always, you always need to be prepared. I mean, nothing shocks me anymore. I hate to say that because no, it's true. I mean, you think you've seen it all, and I've dealt with polo ponies. I've done with jumpers. Majorly in the eventing, dressage, and polo. But I mean, the things that you see, you think you've seen it all, and then something happens, and you go, okay, that one's in the book.
Now I've seen it all.
Yeah, nice.
Exactly. At least you think so.
So, Angel, any tips for when you pack up from the show? I think this is a critical part that people don't think about.
Well, and I'm all about containers. I'm all about organizing your trunks and those nice, I hate to say Home Depot, Stanley, you want me to push a product, the Stanley trunks. Those big black on the wheel Stanley trunks that have the great trays. You can organize everything. One can be for your supplies, the other one even for vet care, which I really do believe that is very important. And there's all the checklists out there for people to look up online. If you think you know everything, and somebody will print something up and add something to that list. I mean, it's just trying your best to go over that and make sure, again, just because you had it at the last show doesn't mean it's going to be in there for the next.
Yeah, I'm a big one for just kind of throwing all my stuff in the truck and going.
Oh, Philip, I would drive me crazy.
Right, and at the end of the horse show, believe me, I'm all for just throwing everything in the trailer. But then again, that's my point is before you get back and you pack up the trailer and go, just because you threw it all in there doesn't mean you know where it's at. You got to unfortunately take the time and go through it. You know what I mean? And that's
for sure.
And that's what everybody forgets. It takes time to do those things, though. And if you're rushed and you overlook it, oh well, talk to your neighbor. You know what I mean? Or put it in there next time. It's not over. The world is not over just because you don't have that.
Yeah, one time I forgot to bring my boots to a show. Yeah.
Philip, you forgot your boots? How did that happen?
I forgot my boots. I don't know. I'm terrible. I'm really bad. And I put everything, where I can see it on the way out the door, and I didn't bring the boots. And then, actually, I think David Marcus lent me his for a day. I know.
That's pretty nice.
That's the whole thing is we have that when people are like, well, I can't ride. It's like, well, did you ask somebody? Maybe if not, no big deal. And it happens.
It does. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, so unfortunately those things do happen. And like you said, you're focusing on everything else and you think the big things helped you forget your boots. People forget their jackets. They forget their top hats. They brought their tails instead of their short coats. I mean, it happens. And it's not your first time. It was probably the third day and you just forgot them at the hotel or before you forgot to walk out the door. You just forgot to grab them.
Well, I put my helmet on top of my car and drove away once. That was a good one, too. I got a million stories like that. I have the worst memories.
Angel, what are we going to do with this, Philip? Oh, my Lord.
I need to hire someone. That's it. That's all I can do.
You need Angel. She's amazing.
That's what people are. That's what you say. That's what I have people for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Angel, thank you so much for coming on. And you truly are. You are amazing. And you keep everything in the horse show. I can't tell you, I have the best horse shows when Angel's with me. And she's seen me since Young Riders. So, Angel, thank you so much for coming on the show. And we would love to have you back another time.
Not a problem. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, there you go. If you enjoyed Reese and Philip chatting with Angel, and who wouldn't, you can tune in every week at dressageradio.com. You can also find more tips about being a better groom at horsetipdaily.com. Just go to the topics drop-down menu on the left. And don't forget, you must support our sponsors here on Horse Tip Daily because they make these podcasts possible. Today's tip has been brought to you by Wintec Saddles, featuring the Easy Change Fit Solution. Please stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like to hear us cover on the show. You can subscribe to all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. You can also listen to the shows right on Facebook. The player's right there every day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.